History Month, we're highlighting the legacy of service from the Divine Nine, historically black fraternities and sororities that have shaped communities for more than a century. Parker Boyd spoke with some members about how that tradition of service continues here on the coast.
Hundreds of toys fill up a storage room in Miss Audrey Southern Kitchen and Catering in Gulfport. The kitchen is assisting Toys for Tots in an initiative to give joy to children by spreading holiday cheer early through its Christmas in July program.
We don't want any child left behind without receiving a toy for Christmas.
Tracy Powell is the lead coordinator for the Toys for Tots program in Jackson County. Powell says service is personal for her, and this Black History Month she's honoring values of her sisterhood, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
And services is what Zeta actually stands for. As far as education-wise, as far as motivating kids, as far as just giving back.
Powell joined Zeta Phi Beta back in 2017. 5 African-American women founded the sorority in 1920 at Howard University in Washington, D.C. It's one of 9 organizations that make up the Divine Nine, a group of historically black fraternities and sororities known for leadership, scholarship, and community service nationwide.
They're making a difference in the lives of those that are less fortunate.
Miss Audrey's owner, Audrey Duncan, says helping families is a year-round responsibility. She's grateful for Black Greek organizations stepping up to help.
We've experienced a lot of underprivileged kids. It's great to know that these organizations partner with people like me and other companies.
I represent another member of the Divine Nine. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated was founded on January 5th, 1911 on the campus of Indiana University by 10 black men determined to build a brotherhood.
Fraternity sorority was about service, but it also was about survival.
These organizations were founded between 1906 and 1922 as a response to racial exclusion and discrimination, giving black people access to support networks. That legacy led Moss Point Mayor Billy Knight to join Omega Psi Phi in Biloxi back in 1984.
Civil rights action that it was doing, things that was social justice, social peace things in the past. And so it was service, but it's also about bringing people together.
Knight says younger members of the Divine Nine should understand the importance of this unity.
We're all individual groups, but collectively we have the same goals. And that's to make sure our people are educated, informed, and that we have a good survival life.
The community see us all together as one.
These toys may be for Christmas in July, but Powell says the spirit of service lasts all year long. In Gulfport, Parker Boyd, WLOX News Now.